Okay, guys, it's been 2 years at Capital Audio Fest. I learned about this really cool new company, a couple, well, they're not officially a couple, but a male and a female that came together under unique circumstances to create a new type of speaker that really caught my eye from a balcony at Capital Audio Fest. I got to spend a little bit of time with them at Toronto, but they deserve a much deeper dive, so stay tuned. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a great Halloween. As usual, I dressed up, although with everything going on recently, I didn't have a new costume per se, but and I didn't even have pockets, so I didn't even take that many pictures. Most of my cameras, I let somebody else hold it all night. I may pop up some pictures. My friends actually did really well in the contest. I'll put that up. And actually, if you follow me on Instagram is where I put more of my personal life stuff. But there's an account, Aunt Tina with HBO Max, House of Ho. It's a reality series down here in Houston. She actually was at the same party that I was at, and we have some mutual friends. So I'm actually in some of her videos on Instagram if you want to see the entire party, much more than I was able to capture if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But really, year round is Halloween for me. I dress up no matter what. So it was a lot of fun. Hope you had a lot of fun. But getting to the purpose of today's video, it's a company that we have Capital Audio Fest coming up. And even though this company won't be at Capital Audio Fest, I'm very nostalgic of Capital Audio Fest because that's where I first met the Maco guys. And this is why you want to go to these shows like Capital Audio Fest, because 2 years ago, I was just on a balcony looking down and I saw the Via Blue booth, which at the time I was just a customer. Now I'm a dealer for it. But at the time I knew nothing about them hardly. And I saw this open baffle speaker that looked like spatial audio. And as you know, Clayton Shaw is great at creating these one panel multi-driver on the panel, creates a lot of performance for the money. But this one looked a little bit different. It had a curvature to it, and it had one huge driver, a Lee Song, single for most of the frequency range, full range driver, and then a big woofer, and a super thick cabinet. In fact, they do granite, quartz, Baltic birch, all the kind of strong kind of materials that are required when you have to cut out such a large part of a flat baffle. It's very important to have a strong structure for your drivers. And again, MDF, as I noted with my GR Research and Extremes, that front baffle with MDF, when you cut out a lot of holes, it becomes very frail. So one of the things that stood out to me right away was the cabinet construction and quality with Maco, but the aesthetics. And then I took a tour after I got to know him better last year. You may have watched that video in Toronto, got to see behind the scenes, the finishes, the construction of the crossover parts and the external crossover box, and even jumpers from Via Blue, which, getting back to that Capital Audio Fest, you're gonna hear in this Zoom that I did with Maco, Anka at Via Blue was instrumental in getting them down, helping them. And it makes me feel so much better about representing Via Blue and featuring companies like Maco, because the other thing you're going to hear in this video is how the company came about. If you didn't see any of my original videos, this was one of the most pure originations of a audiophile brand that I've ever heard of. It was just a friend and another friend, a male and a female. They're not even a quote couple, but they're business partners, and friend. He was helping Deborah's nostalgic heirloom of her father, a piece that needed repair, a speaker, all in one box type thing, nostalgic piece. And they got it working. And the emotion that brought out got them bonded such that they went into business creating speakers for themselves. It wasn't one of these monetary ventures. Hey, let's recreate the wheel and make a lot of money selling speakers. No, this came from a very pure story. And that's the kind of people I like to feature. It's the kind of people that I like giving my money to and sharing with you guys, because I think a lot of criteria now for people, no matter what you're spending money on, is it going to the right type of people behind the brand? Is it big conglomerates, or is it people that, have true passion for the hobby? And that's what I like to feature here, is two people that are really trying to do a good job, give you, in fact, the price points, everything is under 20,000. In fact, well under 20,000, and you're getting super thick granite type baffles, Baltic birch, quartz. You're getting high quality Lisong drivers that are custom, and then the quality parts, outboard crossovers, and the finish. You're going to also hear about a collaboration. I call it a collaboration. I just told them about a potential finish option I thought would be cool, and they're running with it, and they think it's a great idea. And also, I have a customer already interested in it, and I may put their Maco speaker as one of the first ones to be in my Airbnb, maybe them. And you're also going to hear about Whammerdyne, electronics manufacturer, and their story in this Zoom that I filmed. That's very interesting as well, because the synergy between those two pieces is extremely high and budget-wise, very attractive. So I did this little Zoom to give you guys a little behind the scenes, a little more comfort. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them in Toronto, so I thought they deserved a deeper dive. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you back here soon.
Well, it was really a year ago or so, more so at Capital Audio Fest, when I saw it from afar that it first attracted me. So
I think that was actually two years ago. 2 years ago we first brought it, and then we actually exhibited last year, so time flies.
It was mainly a static display.
It was,
back then. Yeah. So yeah, it caught my eye, and it's caught a lot of people's eyes since then. In fact, we had talked about, when I get my Airbnb, you guys maybe sending me a version that I could use there for a period of time, and people could come hear them. Because you are in Canada, it's a little bit harder to do shows down here for you guys. And we talked about a special finish. Maybe tip it off at the word Shelby. I'll give a little hint. And I already have a guy that's pretty much sold on wanting it.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
So whenever it's done, can't wait for that. But yeah, a little bit of basics, whichever you want to go through the basics of the company since then, and anything you want to share about Toronto that I missed.
Oh yeah, well, I remember I had this idea of when I discovered Open Baffle, we started doing my first experiment with Open Baffle. I said, like, I think I found exactly what I'm aiming for and what I'm based my company on. And it suddenly happened that one day I was, Deborah, I saw this kind of a jukebox, old school sound system, like Deborah got from her dad, and I told her, why don't we make it sound? And that's how I think we made it sound, and that's how Deborah got into the project. Like because after that she I remember when she started hearing the music, and I think she started playing some Sinatra songs. Deborah just started crying.
Yeah.
It's a great story about how he helped you repair a family heirloom.
Well, and that's exactly it. Is my father had just passed away, and my mother had passed away years before, and so my brothers and I were clearing out the house, as you do, and we each decided on one symbolic piece, and this was one of those old 1970s cabinets with the turntable and the microphone, and it had such memories of childhood and just everybody sitting around and listening to music, and nights with my dad singing, but it hadn't played in years. And so when Armando got a hold of it, I was going to turn it into a wine cart because I had no idea, but Armando came and made it play, and it just it touched me so much. And I think that timing was perfect because I was just learning about his project and his ambitions, and it just worked. It was about how do you bring that joy to people in a way that looks good, sounds good, but it's more than just the technical. It's about how do you make a lifestyle out of it, and that's how it started.
It's a great story because that's as pure as it comes to starting a business. Loving the music, a family heirloom as part of the equipment. This isn't done from a monetary thing from the start. Let's just make a better mousetrap kind of thing. It just organically. And this is, I think, the secret to attracting more people to the hobby, is that we have to focus on the music itself. Music, even in the Titanic and these movies which bring tears to people's eyes, it wouldn't do so without that background music, putting you in that
100%.
mood. And then some music all on its own without any visual can bring the emotion. And I think that's the key that we as Audiophile have to show, is that if you put all this effort into 8K now, 4K, visual, that's great. But we now have the equivalent of 8K, 4K in audio. Certain companies are developing much higher level playback, and it will bring that emotion to the same level that we get visually with 4K and 8K TVs now. And it's no substitute for when you can get that emotion from music. And again, more accuracy, better quality drivers now, the technology, the things that you guys have keep push things forward are keys to getting that. Sometimes people think accuracy doesn't equal emotion, but it actually does. That's why you put so much into better parts, better baffles, removing all of these colorations that heretofore or cheaper parts don't give you. This is part of high end. And so, yeah, that's why I'm so impressed with the parts that you use, the baffle, everything that you guys do. And quite frankly, not too many full range driver speakers sound all that great full range. They sometimes are rolled off at the top. They have problems. But I know you worked with Lee Song to create a custom driver for you guys. Did you want to maybe touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, at that moment we say like, okay, can we do these little modifications to the drivers, because we already know the magic, and I think especially, the strength of them is that their papers, the combination of papers sounds like amazing, and also the voice coils. So we say, okay, we just need to do these little tweaks here. Let's do things on the suspension, and let's just change these connectors, and then that's how our driver was born. They came out really quick, and they were really, really helpful in terms of for the driver. And the other thing is, like, when I was designing the speakers, I remember I talked to Anke, which is the Via Blue owner, right? One of the owners, and she really believed in our project. Like, she was like, and I remember I showed her some renders, and she says, yeah, we're gonna help you. And from there, the support, the help from Via Blue was amazing. Like, they helped us creating all the wiring, even for the crossovers. Like, and they say, like, okay, let's use all the absorbers for this. And like, I don't know, I just told them the idea, and 2 weeks after, I had the improved version of the harness for the backend. So, like, and then Deborah and I, we didn't feel ready to launch it to the market, but it was Anke who said, hey, come to Capital Audio Fest. We have it there. We're going to show the speakers, like, share. And we were like, but, and then she said, no, you just come. We're going to show the space, and we're going to help you. And that's how everything started, like, and then we met you, though. So, yeah, it was basically thanks to Anke who pushed us to bring them out to the public, actually.
Well, Anka is so great. I mean, and that's a brand that I actually represent, but at the time I didn't. I was just a customer. But I started to notice what you guys notice, how high quality she is, helpful she is. And yeah, ironically, I just got a notification on my phone. Since I am a Via Blue dealer, you guys have the Maco jumpers that only they make for you guys, but they will do it. I have a customer, and it just came in. I got to ship it out to him. He ordered the Maco jumpers, which I think are the only ones Via Blue does, with jacketing attached to it. And so the special Maco jumpers that they made for yours, you can order it through me. And I just got a pair, and the guy, this is his second set that he's ordering. So, yeah, kudos to you guys. Kudos to Anka at Via Blue, bringing it to fruition. And like I said, open baffle plus the Lee Song drivers. The key also with Lee Song, you basically don't have many crossover parts other than that one trade-off to the woofer, but you're using super high quality parts. That enclosure outboard crossover is very substantial. That's not cheap to build that. That's a significant outboard crossover, but high quality parts. And what you've probably noticed as well is that the best crossover parts are no parts. So, having that Lee Song driver have that purity throughout the mid-range and high frequency was really beneficial. So yeah, kudos to you on that. And then the baffle construction is really important to not have too much baffle around cones. You guys have contoured it. It looks great. And like I said, some of these finishes that you come out with have been exceptional. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put up some pictures if you send me some of the latest, so people can see what this speaker looks like. It's just as attractive in the front and the back, and no modifications are required for this thing. It is definitely end game ready at a pretty reasonable price. What are your price points right now?
So it depends on the material, but it essentially starts at $8,899 US and goes up to $16,699. And so that starts at the birch with the grounded base and goes all the way up to granite with the floating base. So anywhere in between, depending on if it's birch, the thermal treated ash, quartz, granite, and then again, which base you choose.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you're able to do all the best types of stone, birch, and those are going to last forever. You know, you don't have to worry about it. So that's great.
Talking about the quality parts that you said, like I remember from the beginning when I started designing the Macaria. Well, at the end, we trying to make it as simple as possible because I knew that that was the way to keep the purest sound, right, and to make it very transparent to whatever you put on the back as an amplification. But the other thing I was thinking is that I want to make it future-proof. That means if we ever do some tweaks to the driver and we launch a better driver, or we're gonna change something, it's gonna be it's actually very, very simple for the customer, like to do it themselves, or we can do it, but it can be upgraded on time. It's not something that they're gonna get just for a few years. It's something that they can even, I don't know, bring for future generations. That's how.
No, it's easy to change. Yeah, that's right. You don't have to worry about a lot of crossover parts either, because it's just off to that woofer, and it's plenty deep enough. It goes almost totally full range in an open baffle configuration. So most rooms you're not going to need a sub or anything. So that's what also I was very impressed with. But also part of the equation that was so good that you were telling me about in Toronto, and I know it was good because I couldn't even get, when I was in there briefly, the sweet spot is also the amplification and the electronics that you guys had. And I know Garrett's on the call too, and maybe we could talk a little bit about what he brought to the table, because those are really cool amps, and getting to know a little bit more about his design philosophy and all the stuff that maybe my viewers aren't as familiar with.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and thanks Armando and Deborah for inviting me to Toronto. It was an excellent synergy in that room. I had heard it before locally because Maco has a listening room in the Portland, Oregon area with a company called Backbeat Audio, and they have a set of the birch Macos and a set of the granite Macos. So I'd spent quite a bit of time with Keith Burgess, who runs Backbeat Audio, listening to both of them, and it sounded amazing. And the system that we had there just paired so well with Maco speakers. We had our damn awesome monoblock amplification with 9.5 watts per channel, the Lampsater Amber 5 DAC, which was a very easy to use and just fantastic sounding DAC, and then of course the Via Blue cables as well. And it sounded amazing. Whammerdyne has been around since 2012. It was started by a man named Pat Hickman. And if you had told me 2 years ago that I would own an amplifier company that was well thought of in the high-end hi-fi industry, I would have not believed you at all. And but you brought something up about the passion of the music, and that's something that I've always felt. When you feel that music, when you hear something that you haven't heard before in a piece that you're familiar with, you know something is special. And that's how I learned of Whammerdyne. I was at a local hi-fi shop called Echo Hi-Fi in the Portland area that I'd used for a long time, and the owner set up a Circuit Salad, which is our hybrid amp, a nice pair of speakers and a nice DAC. And as soon as I heard the first piece he played, my ears were like, oh, there's something special here. And I followed the company, and I really wanted one of those Circuit Salads. I called one day and talked to Kurt, the owner, and he said, you missed the last one. we sold it yesterday. Sorry. I'm like, okay, I'll get to watch on the used market. A couple months later, Pat Hickman, who's running Whammerdyne, and of course I'm following the company and learning about it, and just looking at these gorgeous designs and the innovative capacitor-free technology in the circuit path. He posts on his website, "I'm selling the company," and I thought, okay, there's no chance. A couple months later, I've got Whammerdyne saved in Craigslist. Something pops up, says there's an advertisement for Whammerdyne. It's Pat advertising to sell the company. And I decided to call him, and we just started talking. And visited him a couple of times, brought my wife, Susan, who's the partner in the company. And we listened to his system, and we're just blown away. And we worked something out that made sense for both of us. And we continue to work with Pat. Pat is still actively involved with checking quality control with us, and just working with us on R&D and things like that. But it was time for him. He wanted to do other things and enjoy his family. But yeah, it's a great technology that they invented. Both Pat and Matt Kamna, who was also highly involved, especially in the circuit salad design. He's fairly well known in the audio world for their innovative circuit topology. So it's something completely unique. And when you hear it pretty much on any speaker, you can tell a difference. I've had many comments where people said, I've listened to this song before and I've not heard many of the microdynamics that you're hearing when you're connected with our amps.
That's the key of a lot of these low-powered amps and unique topologies like you guys have, that people realize there is a difference when you have better quality parts or can remove parts, and you can develop an amp and pair it with speakers that can do it with 9 watts. That's another big key, and reveal all the things that you're able to transmit with your electronics. And so that synergy is very important. I'm sure a 9-watt amp won't work with every speaker, but when you get that right, that magic you're talking about can really shine through. And so when I tell people for recommendations, it's not just, I can't just recommend a speaker or I can't just recommend an amp. It's about recommending a system. And that's what you guys were able to put together well. And that's the kind of things that I look for, are people just mixing and matching brands that'll help pay for the room. And there really is no synergy. There was synergy also in aesthetics too. A very attractive room, attractive gear. People could sit in there, and as I noticed when I went in there, nobody was getting up. And that's a big litmus test that you can't even fake. People are not getting up. And so, yeah, I love the looks of your gear. It's phenomenal. And you have, how many different models do you have?
So 3 models.
Okay.
We have the 2 set amps. So we have the Damn Good amp, which is the 4.3 watt per channel, which you saw last year at Capitol Audio Fest. We have the Damn Awesome Monoblocks. That's 9.5 watt per channel set for what we showed at Toronto. And then the Circuit Salad is a hybrid amplifier. So it's a tube front end with a solid state output. And that's 60 watts per channel. It still has the same capacitor-free circuit topology. Get a lot more bass there in the bottom with that. And that's a really good all-arounder. It is what I listen to at home. I finally got my own Circuit Salad after missing out on the last one at the local hi-fi shop. So
yeah. That's cool. And the price point, sir?
So the Circuit Salad, the hybrid amp, starts at $4,700. The Damn Good amp, the set amp at 4.3 watts per channel, is $8,000, and then the set of the monoblocks, the Damn Awesome monoblocks, that is $17,500.
Yeah. So in this day and age of cost no object type amplifier, everything you have is at a reasonable budget point for this hobby for sure, and the aesthetics alone are higher at a level than some of these that are just all massive heat sinks or even cheaper Chinese outsourced, chassis. Yeah. So yeah, thumbs up on that, because that's the thing I keep telling people. I've mentioned it on my last video. Sorry for the dog barking in the background. But people will not buy something unless there is something attractive and something that they feel good about in their room, because that's part of our experience as well. And you guys did it so well with your room. You were able to create a room that was beautiful and I've been talking as well about lighting scheme and all of that stuff. Very important. So I apologize. Somebody's at my door.
Okay.
Let me pause for a second here. But yeah, we were talking about your electronics here. I'm very impressed with the aesthetics and the price points, performance level. You match it with the right speaker, and you did here. And a lot of people may have overlooked low power set amps before, but what you're also seeing on the market is more and more active speakers that take at least the bass portion and power it. And in that case as well, 9 watts is plenty enough for most mid-ranges and tweeters. So your products probably can span even more range of speakers than in the past when you had to do full range duty and some were very inefficient. So the trend is for speakers more friendly to that type of amplification, and you guys are delivering very high quality product at a reasonable cost. So props to you on that. Now, you're not going to be at Capital Audio Fest, but what do y'all have planned? Anything new coming for the new year?
Product-wise or just plan-wise? Because there's always a little bit of both.
Okay. Well, yeah, anything exciting I should know about or anything you want to tip me off about?
Well, we're going to make something for you, for sure.
We're
just waiting for that one.
Okay, so yeah.
I have to say, we're really excited about that.
We have one speaking in development that's coming, but we still need some work on it. But yeah.
Okay.
On that one, we're still not ready to start talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So some R&D happening for us in the background, looking towards possibly another show more locally, but we'll see how that goes, and a few opportunities here to showcase actually the system again, our speakers with the Whammerdyne, either the monoblocks or the circuit salad. So that's coming as well.
Yeah.
It will be a good reason for us to do this again in the near future when you got some new things to announce. But yeah, I am looking forward to that little special collaboration. And like I said, I have a already anxious customer for that. Yes. Anxious customers for the jumpers that you worked with via Blue on. And then I think as more and more people start to see the Whammerdyne stuff, is there going to be any Whammerdyne at Capital Audio Fest that you're aware of?
Not at Capital Audio Fest. If I can make my way out there, I might walk the show.
Okay.
For a day. But probably the next show will be sometime in the early 2026. Okay. And we aim to try to do 2 shows a year.
2 shows, okay.
Yeah. So
I know
I'm
the first one, I'm a big fan of the Tampa show. That's going to be in February. I'll definitely be at that one. And then in the spring, there's obviously some really bigger shows like Expona. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in the States. And I think Whammerdyne should get a little more publicity here, so I'm glad we could talk about it here today.
Thank you.
Obviously, Maco is one of my favorite open baffles. For the price to performance ratio is off the charts, the looks is off the charts, the people behind it, these are all the metrics that I look for, and the aesthetics, so all the bases are covered here. Hopefully it resonates with a lot of people watching, and get to even more comfort as you guys now are established several years now, and maybe can hear you in the near future, hopefully 2026 in the States.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And hopefully you get healed up, Armando.
Yeah, soon. I cannot wait to remove this thing.
This was from a for people that don't know or didn't see in Toronto, it's from a motorcycle. Yeah, being an audiophile is a much safer hobby. Okay.
But I wanted to talk about a little bit more about the sound that Whammerdyne brought to us. I remember thanks to Kid, he was the one who suggested, or Kid was our ambassador from Portland. And then, from there, he connected us again with Garrett and said, okay, Kid says it sounds really good. Why do you think if we do the show? And he was thinking, well, let me think about it.
Uh-huh.
So actually, Garrett was the one who heard the sound before us. Like we just like, okay, we're just gonna trust to Keith's ear and then Garrett's ear, I suppose. And if it sounds good, let's do it. And then, well, Garrett says, yes, let's do it. So he sent his both the circuit salads and then the mouse on monoblocks. And I remember that I connected the monoblocks because it was just a few days before the show. I was nervous, like, will it work? Will it? Like, I was like, almost. And I remember I turned on the amps and I played the first song. My first reaction was like, which, I mean, it was like, obviously I have experienced holography, that three-dimensionality in soundstage. But this was the first time that a combination of speakers made me turn, like kind of treat my head to look for a sound that was back there. Like really, like right away, like my body just was looking for that sound that was there in the background, and this, like, it was the first time like I experienced that sensation of fooling my body, that there was a sound coming exactly for that point in the ceiling, and the other one that's coming from down, like that was. So yeah, and then I was okay, I think it's gonna work for the show. That's how we got here.
No, those are those moments that you live for, is when you hear something you've never heard before and you've got that synergy you've never had before. So
Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, I can't wait. Maybe we'll do a whole Whammerdyne Maco system in the Airbnb at some point, and
I love that.
that would be a cool experience for people that can't go to Canada to hear and see. Get a chance to come down into the Airbnb and hear it. I think it's worthwhile for people, for both a lifestyle type system or a dedicated room. That's the other good thing about this. Will fit into any type environment that you're putting it in, and for most people's budgets too. It's not break the bank. So definitely the type of thing I can endorse, and glad to have you guys on today for that purpose alone. But yeah, y'all are just good people in the hobby, quality sound as well. So yeah, thanks again for joining. Anything else y'all wanted to share? Anything last?
I think, well, there's so many things I would like to share, but I cannot share.
All right, we'll save it for future,
Yes.
teaser. You're leaving me teasers. But we'll definitely be back on when we do this little collaboration on the finish at some point. And then looking forward to seeing Whammerdyne at shows again. Sorry I missed you guys in Toronto for a more extended, but this is a good catch up with you guys and share with everybody, and hope you guys enjoyed too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, y'all have a good Sunday, and we'll talk soon.
You too.
Great.
Okay,
Hey,
bye-bye.
Take care.